Monarch would get word that Heisei Godzilla attacked Skull Island with an army of kaiju. They are confused on why Heisei Godzilla made his way to Skull Island after all these years. And why would he bring the majority of the monsters from all over the world to Skull Island? Some theorize that Godzilla doesn't trust humanity, and he's willing to do whatever he can to protect his fellow kaiju. While others theorize that Skull Island may no longer be habitable for Kong, but for the other kaiju, it can. Others even theorize that there's possibly a powerful energy source that's drawing all the kaiju there. Regardless, Skull Island gets renamed to Monster Island by Monarch and all over the world. They even notice that Skull Island is growing bigger. This is because it's due to the kaiju increasing the island's size. Godzilla is still hunting down Kong and eventually finds him. Because during his battle with Kong, he was managed to give off a good hit, which made Kong bleed. Godzilla tracks down Kong's blood trail and begins his epic battle with Kong in the ocean. Team Kong does whatever they can to keep Godzilla off of Kong's back. However, in the end, Kong is released and he fights Godzilla. However, he is out of his element, only having a few spots for land in order to fight Godzilla. They are in Godzilla's domain. Eventually, the fight continues up until the missiles hit Godzilla to disorient him for a bit. Eventually, Godzilla makes his way back towards the surface, and at first they try to play dead. However, Heisei Godzilla is not like legendary Godzilla, and not easily fooled. He is way smarter than the humans. As been shown in his own movies, the Heisei films, that Heisei Goji was able to outsmart the humans in a few situations. However, for realizing that this is practically an unfair fight for the monkey, Godzilla lets him live, for now. Eventually, Godzilla makes his way back to Monster Island, and is greeted by the military, who is determined to lure the kaiju off of the island and bring them back to their natural habitat. They eventually end up attacking Godzilla after getting word from Team Kong that Godzilla attacked them recently. Godzilla attacks back only in self-defense. However, Mark Russell tells tells the military to stand down. The world is still not recovering, is still trying to recover from the events of Ghidorah's attack and the recent Godzilla attack slightly. At this point, humanity all over the world has been cut in half. The huge amount of population of humanity is basically weakened, and at this point, we cannot risk starting another kaiju apocalypse. So luckily, the military stands down and leaves Monster Island alone for now. However, Heisei Godzilla's not done yet and chases down the remaining military personnel and destroys them, and eventually he goes to Hong Kong. Kong's side of the story, on the other hand, does not change, so his story remains untouched. Godzilla makes his way towards Hong Kong, which is where the three Mechagodzillas are located at. Speaking of which, the three Mechagodzillas are built differently. While one remains the same into his film counterpart, the other two remain quite different, with one of them looking more like a mechanized version of Zilla, and the other one looking more like a Ready Player One Mechagodzilla. The smaller Mechagodzilla is built for speed, and not built for close combat. Its weaponry doesn't really affect all the big major kaiju, but some of the smaller and weaker kaiju it can affect severely injured, basically. The other Mechagodzilla, on the other hand, is built for long-range combat. And if it gets too close to a kaiju, it will get destroyed because it's not good at hand-to-hand combat. It's only good at long-range combat. The last Mechagodzilla is still unchanged, so he's good for close combat and long-range combat. Eventually, heisei Godzilla does sense something within the giant mountain, aka Apex's base. He senses something off and familiar. He approaches the mountain, and before he can destroy it, he's greeted by Kong. Kong is shocked to see the majority of Hong Kong destroyed, which will make this fight a bit more difficult for Kong, considering Godzilla and Kong were destroying the majority of Hong Kong during their battle. However, since there's not many buildings left standing, this will be difficult for Kong, since he needed the buildings to hide behind when he fought legendary Godzilla. The fight begins, and Kong eventually he starts to lose to Heisei Godzilla. Heisei Godzilla continues his fighting Kong until Kong is severely weakened. Before Godzilla can finish Kong, he looks at Kong for a bit and decides to spare him. Oh, if you guys are wondering what happens to that Hollow Earth beam scene, well, I decided to not include it because I don't think Heisei Godzilla would actually sense the Hollow Earth energy going off down there, because, again, he does not have the same senses that legendary Godzilla has, so he wouldn't sense what's going on down there. Instead, Kong will possibly be the one to make his own Hollow Earth entrance, or found one that was close by to Hong Kong and get there faster. Godzilla goes back to the mountain and senses nothing is going off there. So he leaves, but the Mechagodzillas activate, thanks to the Hollow Earth energy, and as a result, the Mechagodzillas the skulls of Ghidorah get the Mechagodzillas to remember what happened, and they now seek Godzilla for revenge. Instead, they find a severely weakened Kong, because Godzilla has already left the scene. The Mechagodzillas then target Kong and start beating the living hell out of Kong. Mechagodzillas beat Kong onto a pulp. Kong cannot handle these Mechagodzillas all on his own. If anything, they're killing him. Team Kong does whatever they can to save Kong, but unfortunately, they can't do anything. Just when all hope seems to be lost, suddenly an atomic breath comes out of nowhere. King Kong, and the other two Mechagodzillas look and see Godzilla, who's came back. Godzilla came back just in time to save not Mechagodzilla, save Kong from the Mechagodzillas. The smaller Mechagodzilla charges at Heisei Godzilla, but Heisei Godzilla grabs the Mechagodzilla and tosses it aside. The second Mechagodzilla starts firing its weapons upon Heisei Godzilla, even all of its beams, but they're not affecting him at all. Heisei Godzilla looks at the other Mechagodzilla, and before he can fire its atomic breath, the original one comes out and punches Godzilla in the face. Godzilla is disoriented for a bit, but then gets right back into the fight. Kong sees the smaller Mechagodzilla trying to sneak up behind Godzilla. Godzilla and Kong share a glance, and they both nod. Kong charges at the smaller Mechagodzilla, while Godzilla handles the other two. Kong starts chasing the smaller Mechagodzilla, trying to hit it or do whatever he can to catch it, while Heisei Godzilla battles the other two Mechagodzillas. While he's battling the other two Mechagodzillas, Heisei Godzilla senses Ghidorah, or when he punched or bit down on at the Mechagodzilla's arm, leg, or tail, or even by the neck. And now he realizes what was going on. The humans built the Mechagodzillas in order to try to kill him. However, they unknowingly brought back Ghidorah in the form of 3 mechanical versions of him. This kind of angers Heisei Goji, but not severely, because he has a feeling that Monarch was not responsible for this. If anything, they did not know about this at all. Eventually, Heisei Goji does destroy the second Mechagodzilla, while Kong took care of the third and last one, thanks to Godzilla's help by firing his atomic breath at the axe. Finally, both Godzilla and Kong join forces to take down the last Mechagodzilla. The last Mechagodzilla does not go down without a fight, and he starts beating up both Godzilla and Kong. Heisei Goji decides to unleash his nuclear pulse, and Kong gets out of the way and fires his red spiral ray atomic breath, completely obliterating the last Mechagodzilla. And he uses a new ability called the white spiral ray atomic breath. Yes, it's a Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex reference. One blast of it and the entire mountain explodes. Luckily, Team Godzilla was managed to get out of there just in time. The mountain explodes, and Heisei Godzilla is victorious. Heisei Goji and Kong look at each other, share a glance, and Godzilla decides to let Kong live, knowing that this rivalry was basically pointless. Kong may not forgive Heisei Goji or the other kaiju for taking his home, but at least he has a new home. And this is where we leave this scenario for now. Basically, the sake to be continued, because of, Godzilla x Kong. So anyways, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this series deal? And let me know which one was your favorite. Mine personally was Godzilla King of the Monsters 2014 and Godzilla vs. Kong. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. Anyways, subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.